Welcome back to Truth Today, a correspondence on the war on consciousness. A suggestion. Let us not celebrate the murder of our enemies. This morning, a friend shared with me there was a bombing in Israel. And, these days it's hard to know if these things are actual. Sometimes they can be spoofed. But it seemed that it was legitimate, and I do have to validate if what I was watching was real. But it certainly seems so. It's very hard because the first thing I had, the first instinct that came to me was that they deserve it. If anyone, at least in my framework of time period, deserved having force acted against them for their actions, it's Israel and their genocidal state. But now the United States has now been pulled into we're responsible. The reason why I say this, though, is that if we celebrate the murder of those people, we're participating in let me say this. Let me rephrase that. If we celebrate the murder of other human beings, we are falling into the trap of the war on consciousness, because that is a strategical tool, psychological tool in the war on consciousness, in the divide and rule and divide and conquer strategy. I'm not saying that force is not necessary. It certainly is. I'm not saying that one should not take force to defend themselves and their families, and if that means taking another one, the person attacking you's life, you should do it. And if that means many, it should be done. And if anybody has deserved retaliation, it is certainly Israel. And now, the military our military bases that are participating in it, we have opened the door to that. Pardon me. But this is the key to understand. We don't celebrate the murder of someone who is attacking us. And we do not celebrate the murder of all those people being attacked in Israel. Because the people who had to retaliate, their hand was forced. And in fact, it is very clear that Israel, from the outset, has been really a leveraging mechanism of global powers. Even Netanyahu, who is guilty, has been set into motion years ago. The whole state of Israel is actually a type of mercenary nation set into motion years ago. The United States of America has been leveraged into this position. This is not saying that the two parties are not responsible, but to get into cheering for or against is falling into the traps being set by the people putting this war into motion. Because there are geopolitical powers at play, and there is no doubt. So I'm not telling you how to react. There may be people watching this who have family who have been killed by the Israelis. There have been women and children starved to death, raped. murdered. And here's something we need to understand. In the United States of America, the soldier's oath is to protect the people, we the people, and the Constitution from foreign and domestic threats. The Iranians have not attacked one person in the United States of America. The Iranians haven't threatened the Constitution. Yet, the Israelis are attacking the First Amendment and the Constitution at every chance they get. The Israeli IDF, or the Israeli 8,200 alumni and their startup companies in the United States of America have actively targeted Americans on American soil, people who were part of the BDS, and even people that their subcontractors have used cybersecurity and directed energies against. This is a fact. So, but putting that aside, today what I watched was women and children running in a street, screaming and crying, horrified and terrified. These were Israelis. Some of these people may have been participating and supporting the attack in Gaza. Mostly because it's basically a cult nation and they're mostly brainwashed. But not all of them were. What we need to understand is, take a look around wherever you're from. Unless you're a big player, most people are leveraged by the economy, right? And say most people, I'm in New York City here, and this is basically around the area of the Lower East Side in Chinatown. Most of these people do not have a choice. Most of these people have to go to work Monday to Friday, and they're being robbed and leveraged by the IRS and the Federal Reserve. They have no say. There's nothing they can do to stop what is happening. There's no way the power of the people has been removed. I would imagine that this has been the case as well in Israel. From what I understand, the little bit that I've spoken with people regarding this, not all the Israelis have signed up for what is going on there. And the fact of the matter is, they probably have no power whatsoever. I am not saying that that force and the retaliation of Iran is misplaced. I'm saying we should not celebrate these things, right? Because once we celebrate it, because we are participating in the war on consciousness. Because today what I saw, my first instinct was, oh, good, it's about time. And then I caught myself. And then I heard the screams of women and children running and screaming that probably didn't know where they were going to go, didn't know what they were terrified. There's terrorism. That is the actual goal of the war on terrorism, to create terrorism. They are sowing the seeds, because the seeds being sowed here are artificial seeds of economic growth and control in the future of protection rackets on a global scale. And this is what we're seeing at play, right? You know, it's Miyamoto Musashi, one of the greatest samurai. Well, he said, don't venerate, don't worship, venerate Buddha, but do not worship him, right? And this is a man who only lived to write the book, the 5 rings, was it 4 rings? Because he killed every man in hand-to-hand combat. And later in life, he was able to give these reflections on that life. If someone, this is a suggestion. I'm not telling anyone how to feel. It's just, we should not participate in the bloodthirst. Because if someone if they are forced into defending themselves and their family and they have to take another life, We should not serve that as an inflation of the ego. The reward is that once the violence and the force is ended, we are alive, our families are alive, and we're going to have an opportunity to enjoy a moment, maybe just like this, of peace, enjoying that which is life, or enjoying the love of your family. We don't need to have a celebration or a parade or wave flags or anoint someone or throw anyone on our shoulders for that. We need to stop engaging in the war on consciousness, because it's how we address these conflicts is very important. Because the fact of the matter is, both sides of this conflict are not acting from a primary independent place. Both sides' hands being forced. So do not celebrate the murder of your enemy. And do not celebrate. But understand where we're at. Because force is necessary at this point. But they have forced the hand. And we, here in the United States of America, need to understand, do not participate in celebrating this and call this out for what it is, because we the people no longer have representatives. Our government has been taken over, our treasury has been looted, and the money that was invested in our military is being managed by, say, the Bank of International Settlements and global players. The military-industrial complex is simply a business deal. Whatever the words are, global players are mobilizing our military. Because again, Iran has not harmed one American on American soil, and they have not challenged our Constitution in any way. The whole idea that we have a friend in Israel that we need to help defend, right, is bullshit. Henry Kissinger himself said, nations do not have friends, they have interests. So, my suggestion is, let us not celebrate as if we're at a football game, sides of murder, or people put into a conflict. Do not play the ego game. This is a war on consciousness. And this was put into motion by men sitting in boardrooms looking at data analytics and computers and making decisions. And the decisions they made this morning affected all those women and children screaming and running in the streets, crying, terrified. And that those women and children terrified is the war on consciousness, whichever side it is on. Because the war that is happening there has nothing to do about water, food, and shelter. It's all about a global economic system that does not support we the people. It does not serve inalienable rights and freedom. It is simply to access, assess, and affect, conquer, control nations and people. Take care.